What does the draw launch mean for your club? I'm Paul Grzadka, joined by former NRL legend and current Buy Round podcast host James Graham to discuss Parramatta's chances in 2025. James, the Eels haven't qualified for the final since making the decider back in 2022. How can they rediscover the magic from 3 years back?
Yeah, well, look, when I think of the Eels, it's been another team with a real fresh start, new coach. Defensively, they have had their issues, and obviously the key player of Moses being injured. But for me, just looking ahead, it's the clauses in a couple of key players' contracts that could really determine how the Eels go this year.
What about the new coach, Jason Riles? You mentioned him. What's he going to bring to the organisation?
Well, he's going to bring plenty of knowledge from different organisations that he's worked at, but there's so much more pressure when you are the person that is in charge of making those decisions. I think I've liked Riles' approach in what I've heard from him so far, but it's a different beast when you're living it for real life. Yeah,
for sure. The Eels let their opponents score 20 points or more 22 times last year. You mentioned the defensive lapses. How do they tighten that next year?
Yeah, I think it comes down to attitude. I remember a game they played against the Dolphins last year, and they were so poor defensively, and it comes down to will and want. For Parramatta, they've had a bit of a change up in some of the personnel there, especially in their forwards, which may help them. There's less similar style of players, some more players with more of a defensive attitude, so hopefully that can help the Eels defensively.
You mentioned a couple of the players earlier, a Jenga piece for the Eels. Who are you thinking?
Oh, Mitchell Moses, one and only. His Origin performance last year in Game 3 just showed what he can do. If he can, again, it's a not too similar story. Sometimes a lot of teams have one player in particular that is that key Jenga piece, but for the Parramatta Eels, there's no bigger piece than Mitch Moses.
Do you have an arrow pointing up for the Eels, or is it sideways? I mean, it's hard to go down.
I certainly hope they can't go down. Sideways, maybe slightly up.
Oh, geez, I'll get the tongues wagging out west. They're hoping for much more, especially with the new coach. But thanks, James. The full NRL draw is now available at nrl.com or on the app.